Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order at 12 o'clock. Dr. Ball?
Yes, before we start the meeting, if everybody would like to get their plate first, and then we'll come back and officially start.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to do the invocation and the pledges. Roger.
Yes. Everybody can please stand if you're able. Lord, we're grateful for the opportunity to serve and make decisions that impact the lives of our students, families, and staff. Today, we especially give thanks for the dedicated members of our school board whose commitment, vision, and leadership guide us in fulfilling our mission of education and growth. May they continue to be inspired by the importance of their role, and may they find joy in knowing the difference that they make every day. As we celebrate Board Appreciation Month, may their efforts be recognized and valued by the community that they serve, and may we all join in offering support and encouragement. Let this meeting reflect our shared commitment to the success and well-being of every student in our district. May we work together with humility, respect, and an unwavering focus on the future that we are building. In your name we pray, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Public comments, Brandon? Okay. Oh, okay.
I'll just stay here unless it's on.
So, unfortunately, our regular board meeting got canceled, but because January is always the best board meeting because that's when we get to honor all of your hard work. Most people don't know that as board members, you don't get paid for this. This is something that takes a lot of your time, but you give so selflessly from your heart, and you love what you do and you love our students. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything that you do. You can see the kids made you lots of beautiful things. We have the students that created those art pieces that we're going to come and talk at Tuesday's board meeting, but they will come and talk at February, so if you don't mind leaving those behind. But on behalf of myself, the senior staff, and the district, just wanted to say thank you so much for all your hard work and your dedication. The team also created a video for you that we would like to share. And Jenny, if you would like any.
The Southwest ISD community is blessed to have a school board that truly cares about its children and employees. The Southwest ISD school board is dedicated to putting students and staff first. Their hard work, decision-making, and dedication to excellence ensures every student has the opportunity to succeed. These devoted individuals spend many hours planning, training, and collaborating to create a positive learning environment where students can thrive. The board's leadership and service are the foundation of Southwest ISD's success. Their focus on supporting students and the community inspires growth and achievement. We are so grateful for their leadership, which continues to positively impact the lives of everyone in Southwest ISD. Thank you, Southwest ISD Board of Trustees, for your efforts and dedication. Your guidance is appreciated and celebrated by all. Here is a short video from around the district showing just how much we all appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, board members, for all that you do.
Thank you, school board!
We appreciate you, school board!
Thank you, school board, for sorting Gamma Sigma!
On behalf of Ms. Tamayo's 5th grade class, we say,
Thank you, school board members! Thank you, SWISD board! From Panera Theater, happy school board appreciation! Thank you, board members! Thank you! Thank you, board members!
Thank you, Southwest School Board members.
We appreciate you, school board! School board, we appreciate you! Thank you. Board! Board members, thank you for supporting Skyhawk Thank you, board members. Muchas gracias. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, school board members.
From McNair's DLC classrooms.
Thank you, board.
Boys.
Gracias.
Thank you, school board, for supporting school athletics.
From the McNair Mariachi, happy school board appreciation.
School board, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, school board.
All you do and for your dedication, for loving our community and for loving our children. We are very grateful and appreciative of each and every one of you. We will still continue at our regular board meeting in February to do another little celebration, but we did not want the month of January to go by without you all knowing how much you're loved and appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have item 4, consider approval of overnight trips. We have them all lumped together. Y'all, board members, do you have any questions? If not, I need them.
One question.
Okay.
Did they spend the night last year? Yes. Well, this will be, there's 2 kids that have chosen to be ambassadors. So it's not an actual competition, it's for leadership.
Oh.
And so they're gonna have 2 of them going, that's gonna represent the unified teams. That was it.
Okay.
I move.
A second.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. Number 5, board amendment.
There's nothing really much in the board amendment. There was some movement on campuses, moving money around and buy some supplies and technology, just by function, so nothing to fund balance. So we're asking the board to approve budget amendment 5.
I move.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Is somebody writing those? Okay. Any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. Number 6, consider approval of the 23-24 district financial audit.
Yes, ma'am. With us today, they're gonna be on the line, so that, Coleman Horton and Company, Mr. Derek Walker is gonna present to you the results of our, financial audit. You do have a financial audit in front of you, so he'll be referencing this book, giving you page numbers to go to. And so I'm going to turn it over to Derek. Derek, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and proud. Thank you, sir.
Oh, sorry. Am I too loud?
No, you're good.
Oh, good. Good morning, board. Dr. Ball, thank y'all for having me this afternoon. As mentioned, my name is Derek Walker, and I am with Coleman Horton and Company at Uvalde, and here to present the district's annual financial audit for the year ending August 31st, 2024. So the Texas Educational Code requires that an audit be performed annually. And by approving that audit here tonight, we are fulfilling that requirement. Please bear in mind that on page 3 of the audit report is a certificate of board. I need the board president and the board secretary to sign this, and preferably get that to us sometime today so that we can get that submitted to TPA. Just going over the audit, it took us a little longer this year. We're normally at the December meeting. We're just still wrapping up with a bunch of COVID money, all those special revenue funds. And then also y'all had some construction that we're working with, trying to get all the retainage booked, all the accounts payable, the fixed assets recorded, etc. So we try to get this audit to you a little early, just so that you have a chance to review it. And if y'all have any questions, we can address them at this time, but we try to do this presentation pretty short. Tonight, I'd like to review 3 things: our audit opinion letters, some fund balance of some individual funds, and then also your budgetary comparison schedule. So I see that y'all have your audits. Y'all can switch to these pages, flip to them if you like to or not, but on page 4 is our first opinion on the financials. Briefly, it states that we audited the district's financial statements as of August 31st, 2024. We did so using accounting and auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America. And we believe that the evidence that we were able to gather is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion that the district's financial statements present fairly in all material respects the operations of the district. This is also known as a clean or an unmodified opinion, and it is the highest level of assurance an auditor can give on a set of financial statements. Page 18 is our second opinion letter. No need to turn to it. I'm just going to go over it real briefly. So if a district receives federal funding, they're required to have an audit on their internal controls and compliance over their financial reporting. As noted in the reports, there were no instances of non-compliance or any deficiencies that are required to be reported for that audit. This is also a clean or an unmodified opinion. Our last opinion is on page 87. If a district receives federal funds in excess of $750,000, they are required to have an audit on their major federal programs. This year, the district had roughly about $30 million in federal funds, so this audit was a requirement. As noted in that report, there were no issues with non-compliance or any other deficiencies that are required to be reported. Also an unmodified or a clean audit opinion. So congratulations to the district in those three opinions. Next, I'd like to review fund balance. And I would like y'all to turn to these pages. This is page 23 and 24 in your audit report. So looking at those pages, I'm going to focus on a couple just different lines. I want y'all to kind of pinpoint them. So your total revenues, which is 4 lines from the top. Total expenses are about 3/4 of the way down. And then I'm going to look at net change in fund balance, which is 3 lines from the bottom. And then also your ending fund balance. So going over this statement, this is your statement of revenue, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. Some funds are reported major or reported separately because they're assets. Total expenditures require them to be considered major. Column 1 is your main operating account. This is your general fund, and it is always presented major. The bulk of your property tax revenues, the bulk of your state aid, all get collected or put in that fund, and also the majority of your expenses, your salary, your wages, your general administration, your transportation, etc., get paid out of that. So looking at your total revenues for your general fund was $160 million. You go to your total expenditures, 3/4 of the way down. Total expenses were $170 million. So revenues were less than expenses, so you had a decrease in fund balance, that 3 lines from the bottom of $9,697,343. That left the general fund with an ending fund balance of $73,503,052. When you look at that in proportion to the total amount of expenses you had during the year, you have about a 5-month reserve built up right now. That second column is your debt service fund. Looking at the change in fund balance at 3 lines from the bottom, that increased $2,493,785, leaving your debt service fund with an ending fund balance of $8.4 million. Your capital projects fund, this is the fund that receives all your bond proceeds, but it also is the one that also spends it all, right? So fund balance is a little deceptive in this, because if you issue bonds one year, your fund balance, say you issue $100 million in bonds, your fund balance will go up $100 million. And then as you spend that over the next couple of years, it goes down just as quick. So looking at your capital projects, that third column, it had a net change in fund balance, a decrease of $10.6 million, leaving your capital projects with an ending fund balance of $195 million. Your fourth column, which is your other funds, we lump all the non-major funds in here. This includes your child nutrition program, your campus activity funds, Title I, et cetera. Looking at that, they had an aggregate decrease of $604,000, leaving those funds with a $4.5 million fund balance. Overall for the district, total fund balance decreased $18.4 million, leaving the district with a $282 million fund balance. Were there any questions on that schedule?
No, sir.
Okay. The last schedule I'd like to go over is on page 60. This is your budgetary comparison schedule for your general fund. There's 4 columns here. That first column represents your original budget. This is what's passed before the start of the year. Your second column is your final amended budget. Y'all have budget amendments during the month, and that reflects your final budget amounts. The third column is your actual amounts. That's what you actually received in income. That's what you actually spent out. Fourth column is a variance between your actual and your final budgeted amount. So I'm going to look at that far right column, the variance between the final and budget. Your total revenues were $5,658,453 more than what was anticipated. Looking at the 3 different categories, your local revenue, which would be like property taxes, would be kind of miscellaneous local revenue, that was up, or it was more than was anticipated. Your state revenue was more than anticipated, and then your federal revenue was less than what was anticipated. Looking at your total expenditures, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines from the bottom, they were $4.2 million less than what was anticipated. So good job with then staying in those budgetary constraints. There was one budget over expenditure in function 21, which is your instructional leadership. It wasn't much, but just in the future, make sure you monitor that a little better, just to make sure that there's none at the end of the year. So that's really all I wanted to go over. It was a relatively clean audit, other than that one little budget over expenditure. We appreciate you. We appreciate y'all having this board meeting tonight. We have to get this audit submitted by the 28th. So once again, please get us that certificate of board, and we'll get rolling with that. Do you have any other questions?
Board, do you have any questions? No, sir, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Derek.
Yes, sir.
So today we're asking the board to approve the audit findings as presented for the 23-24 financials.
Can you tell us what that instructional leadership over?
It's actually, so you know how we bring amendments to y'all, that how they move money through functions? So it was actually 23. So if you go to school leadership and you go across, we asked the board to approve 9.7 million, but we actually spent 25,000 over that. So when we do that final board amendment at the end of the year, to make sure, we're trying to clean up to make sure that we're not over in a function. And this one, because we're trying to plan it with when we pay out at the end of August accruals for salaries. And so this is pretty much a mistake on our part, that we should not have a function that should be in a negative. It's not anything to fund balance, it just wasn't counted right in that section.
Okay. Okay, board, I need a motion.
I move.
Who moved? Flo?
Yes. I'll second.
And Joe second. Are there any other questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, motion carries. Consider approval of the order of election for Southwest School District.
Yeah, we're gonna have Scott, he's gonna present on the next 3 items.
I don't know if everybody knows that Scott is taking over this responsibility and this duty, so this now falls under Scott. So I know that Mary works very closely with you, but we know that you will do an excellent job.
Thank you. I'm very excited to take on this new role. So the first order of business today is asking the board for the order of election. So district staff is asking the school board to approve an election order on May 3rd. The voting locations will be Big Country Elementary, Bob Hope Elementary, McAuliffe Middle School, Sky Harbor Elementary, Southwest ISD Central Office, Building 800, and the Horace Fincher Center in Lyle, Texas. We will also be asking for the order to include the early voting locations, which will be McAuliffe and the central office. And those early voting dates are scheduled for April 22nd through the 29th. Any questions?
No? If there's no questions, I need a motion.
I move.
Second.
Okay, any questions? No more? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consider approval of a joint election agreement.
All right. For the upcoming May 3rd election, the district staff is requesting board approval to hold a joint election with the city of Lytle. Any questions?
I move.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any other questions? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consider appointing an administrator to be liaison with the Bear County Elections Department.
This is where we would like the board to consider Scott.
That's correct.
Board,
Does say nominate him or just?
is he on the,
Yeah, he's on there.
he's on there. You just have to make a motion.
I move.
I second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any questions? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Thank you. Motion. Yeah, congratulations. Consider approval of construction documents for Southwest Legacy High School addition project.
Yes, ma'am, we got Thomas here with Fluger. I believe Fluger's gonna present all the construction documents, and today we're gonna be asking the board to approve those so we can move forward with the project.
Okay.
Good morning. Like Mr. Chris said, I'm here with Raul, Raphael, and Brad, the team for the Legacy High School additions. So this is construction documents. So once they go through the presentation, if you all have any questions, and after that, we'll ask the board to approve the construction documents as presented. So I'm going to turn it over to Raul.
Great. Thank you, Thomas. Good afternoon, members of the board, Dr. Ball, senior leadership. Thank you again for the opportunity to present to you all this afternoon. So like Mr. Thomas mentioned, we're going to be kind of going through, and this is really kind of a representation of, we're in the construction document phase at the moment, and what we're going to present today is essentially kind of a graphic representation of that process. So we'll kind of go through this, and I'll kind of preface it with the first several slides are slides that you all, pretty much everybody has kind of seen before. The scope of work in terms of the general classrooms, the choral suite, the exterior canopy, and the cosmetology upgrades, should those be needed, or really have not changed since our schematic design phase of the project. So maintaining consistency there in terms of the scope of work. In terms of the program of spaces, again, this hasn't really changed. We do have the 22 general classrooms that are part of the program, the fine arts, choir suite, along with its support spaces, building support. We've got included as part of the program a security resource officer, a general office, the workroom, some grade level storages, as well as some student and group, or some group restrooms and some staff restrooms as well. In terms of the site plan, again, really no change here. The new addition will be placed at the end of the existing classroom building, part of the existing campus. The exterior canopy will be constructed as part of the existing welding shop, just to kind of add some additional support to that building. And again, those ventilation upgrades, if needed, will be part of that cosmetology lab. In terms of the floor plan, again, really no changes on this. We have 12 general classrooms on the first floor.
Can you hang on just for a sec?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your?
I was just going to say, what's going to determine the ventilation upgrades, just once you get up there and take a look? Or?
Yeah, and I think once they kind of go through the process, I think what the issue is some of the the nail, the fumes when they kind of do that process. I think there were some fans that weren't working at the time when we visited. I think since then, those have been corrected, if I'm not mistaken.
So in
Yeah.
those science labs, there's an isomet system that had a red emergency punch button. What we found is that the light wasn't coming on, even though the fan was on, the light was not turning on, so the fan, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Yeah, the fan wasn't coming on, even though the light showed that it was
Right.
on. So the fan was out during that time, so we replaced the fan, completed the fan motor. We don't think that we're gonna have to do anything with that ventilation, because it's just a matter of the fan wasn't working, even though the light that says it's on was on. It wasn't doing anything. Because it's not very loud, the teacher couldn't just tell that it was not working properly.
No.
So, but we do have kind of a low-cost option should we need sort of supplemental ventilation in that space. That's the reason we're just kind of keeping it kind of in the forefront. Okay. Like I was mentioning on the floor plan, really no major changes to that. We've got 12 general classrooms on the floor, sort of scattered on the perimeter of the building. We have the group restrooms and the staff restrooms sort of in the core of the building addition, along with the SRO office down on the first floor, kind of adjacent to the southern entry of the building. Second floor almost looks like almost a mirror image of that. It's really just kind of stacked on top of each other. The only difference here is, or addition, is that we do have the choir hall sort of stacked on top of some of the classrooms. But essentially everything else is to kind of maintain the building efficiencies. We're basically kind of stacking all of the classrooms along with the group and staff restrooms on that second floor. In terms of the building exterior, we got several renderings to kind of go through and kind of show everybody what this sort of building kind of looks like from really all sort of angles. Really our intent here is to match the existing brick, really be consistent with the existing architectural language of the existing building, to where this doesn't necessarily look like an addition, but that it was all built really at the same time. So this is a view of the sort of front entry approach of that addition, kind of a straight-on view from the parent drop-off loop. Kind of turning the corner, you can kind of start seeing some of the classroom spaces on the perimeter of this building. A little bit of a clearer shot there. We do have canopy at both of the entry and exit points of this building as well, just to provide some protection. This is a view from the backside of the of that building. This is a quick rendering of the canopy at the weld shop. Again, just really an extension so they can have a little bit more sort of elbow room to be able to work on the exterior of the existing welding lab. Building interior, I wanted to kind of start off with a quick rendering of the choir hall. Really kind of what you see here is sort of the spaces. That's how that's going to look. We've got the acoustical wall panels on the perimeter of the space, along with, in this flooring finish, will be all LVT, just to kind of help a little bit with the acoustics of it. But really that's just kind of how that sort of lays out. It's pretty comparable to what was done over at Southwest High School, so we wanted to make sure that we kind of stay pretty comparable to what they have there. The next several slides, I want to just kind of preface it really quick. There was a discussion during the subcommittee meeting about some of the collaboration spaces on the first and the second floor. So we did want to provide the district a couple of options. One of them was sort of maintaining those collaboration spaces for use, obviously, by the campus. And then we're also going to kind of show some of what does that look like if we didn't have those collaboration spaces and kind of what those look like. So the first couple of images here kind of indicate those collaboration spaces. Again, like mentioned during subcommittee, the finishes throughout are essentially the same as the existing building. So you'll see the polished concrete, we'll see the painted chipboard on the walls, sort of exposed type ceilings kind of throughout. The stairways, in terms of how those are treated, those are going to be identical to the existing building as well. So what we're currently looking at here is at the north stair. It's that collaboration space. We did sort of create an opening at that second floor level, just to kind of create some height in that space. This particular rendering is on the first floor. This is really kind of the view from the intersecting corridor of the existing building. So there's an opportunity there to provide a little bit of a collaboration space, but also to provide some type of a graphic to kind of help brand the campus at this particular edition. This is the south stairwell. So this one has a small opportunity to provide some seating space underneath the stairwell there. And then lastly, for option 1, on the second floor, in the center part of the addition, again, another opportunity to provide a little bit of a collaboration space for students, and another opportunity to provide some graphics on that wall. Option 2, so really the same images, but obviously with the deletion or the removal of the collaboration space, and kind of what that looks like. Really, they're just become a little bit of a wider sort of corridors for the students. So I'll just kind of run through these. Again, we'll still provide the graphic on the wall, minus the floor. And really, the only difference on those obviously would be the flooring, and then obviously the furniture component to it. But everything else pretty much kind of would stay the same.
So, the way it works right now, does the board pick option 1 or 2? Or that doesn't really need to be decided today?
We like for, I guess, just some direction on, a lot of it for us, it's not the furniture, it's more of like the flooring finish that would affect us to be able to incorporate.
I would also like to maybe bring it back to subcommittee. We'll kind of get to this point, but then, right now we're going through the budget. Talks, I would say. So we're working through budget, so it's probably at the end of the day, it might not be an option anyway, because right now we're doing the budget. So we're gonna work through those. We're not being anything, but we'll look at it and bring you what it was costing you. So right now we are over budget. We're gonna be working to go through those. But the next subcommittee, at least for the subcommittee, we wanna bring what the difference is costing us. It is gonna be a budget issue.
It would just cost us the difference in the flooring and then whatever furniture we would put in there.
Right, that and depending on what we do on the walls, I know they adjusted that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think at subcommittee, we presented some glass wall boards as well as part of that collaboration space. In this iteration, we've kind of removed that, obviously to kind of help save on the cost. But also, we still have that wall that is a good opportunity for us to provide some graphics and some renderings for the campus.
Okay.
Or we can take feedback now if you like.
Well, I mean, what are we looking at price-wise for the flooring and the,
That's a piece I want to bring back to. I don't know if we have those numbers exactly for this area.
And it can wait for subcommittee?
I think we're gonna.
We're
gonna need a subcommittee coming up here February 4th for other stuff, so I think that's not too far away.
Right, yeah, it's not a big change for us. I mean, we can certainly get the pricing from Joris, and then we can kind of make that decision at a later time, but.
yeah, I don't want to value engineer out something that is not like a huge amount of money, but that can make a difference in how, I mean, we're spending a lot of money, and then I don't want to cheap out on how it looks.
Absolutely. So we'll do that exercise and bring it to you, so you'll make an informed decision. Right now, we don't have pricing separated, so we couldn't tell you if it's costly or it's not.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, and I think at the tail end of the presentation, we kind of have some side-by-side comparisons of those sort of two options.
Okay.
So, yeah, we can certainly revisit that with the money component. And I think that's pretty much all we have. Are there any questions?
The budget is right at 14.6 million. It will be funded through the 23 bond funds. And that is recommended approval of church documents.
Board,
I move.
we have a first and a second. Are there any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, really appreciate it.
Consider approval of amendments to the 24-25 compensation plan.
Yes, we're asking the board to approve 2 items. One is to currently, our practice has been to pay tutors by a daily rate, so if they come in and work a full day, we would pay them $100. We're finding out they don't want to work a full day, it can be frankly $8 into $100 is not worth their time, it's very low wages. So we've created a different plan on whether they're degreed, not degreed, or a certified teacher, and these are for instructional day tutors. And so we're asking the board to approve the new rates. And they're on your board background, they're tiered. So if you're a certified teacher, we would pay you $25 an hour. Most of them, when they come in, they want to work 3 or 4 hours. They don't want to work there the whole day. If they work a whole day, it's going to be really up to the principal and them to decide how much, especially with their budgets. So we're asking that. We're also asking as we get into the staffing for next year and hiring folks, we're looking at to pay incentive out to those that let us know that they're leaving the district. The first one is $500 if they tell us as of February 14th that they don't intend on coming back. This would help us to get out in the market sooner to hire teachers in our job fairs because we have openings. If they wait after February 14th to March 7th, we would pay them out a $300 incentive for letting us know. So these are good strategies to use so that we can, if we know people are leaving, give us enough time, we can go out and find highly qualified teachers because all districts are pretty much, and districts are fighting for the same folks in this area. Those are the recommendations that the district has.
Do we pay anybody in our school district less than $15 an hour?
I don't think so.
Didn't we decide we weren't going to do that?
Correct. So if we can move, can we move the degree to 15 and the degree to 18? Is the board be okay with that? We change it here now?
Well,
At least we can get-
I mean, we did say we weren't going to pay anybody less than $15. So we would go $15 for the non-degree tutor and 18 for the,
Degree.
I think that would be more
We
appropriate.
can do that as long as they'll agree.
Okay. So I need a motion with those.
I move.
Second.
Do you make the motion that, for the way it's amended?
Yes.
Okay.
I move with the amended motion.
Okay, and then, so we have a first and second with the amendment? Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Both of those. The instructional tutor and the early early notice thing. Okay. Consider approval of the construction documents for the district-wide fencing project.
Yes, we have Thomas here. He's also working with the architect who's going to be presenting on this. So, Thomas?
So we have Mr. Jerry Lammers and his team here with Alamo Architects, and they're going to present the construction documents for the district-wide fencing, which is the security fencing that we're doing to meet the TEA standards.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank y'all. This is our first project with the district. We're very excited, and we hope we're able to build a long-term relationship with you. So, with me today is Raul Hernandez, project manager, Amber Garcia, and Lupita Suarez, our team members. So we were charged by the district to look at all your campuses, all 17 campuses, and then see what it would take to bring them up to TEA standards in terms of fencing. So we did a site assessment of each campus. After we did the site assessment, we came back and analyzed where you would need to add security fencing and where you have 6-foot chain link fencing that we're going to propose to upgrade to 8-foot chain link fencing. We're going to talk about 3 kinds of fencing today. This is on your drawings. You'll see a panelized fence. This is the panelized fence. It's a non-climbable panelized fence. And that'll be 6 feet tall where we use it. It's a little more attractive than chain link, so we're going to use this in areas or propose it in areas where you may have a park that's next to you at the back of the school or on the side of the school. And then on the front of the campuses, we're going to do similar to what you have around these 3 campuses you have here, which is all of this is a prefabricated picket fencing, so it'll look similar. It comes in panels, so if a panel were to get damaged, you could easily take it and replace it with a new panel. So those, and then on chain link fencing, where we're replacing chain link fencing, we're proposing to go to 8-foot chain link fencing. The TEA says that a 6-foot chain link fence doesn't meet their security standard. So we're proposing to remove those 6-foot fences and replace them with an 8-foot fence. So these are our 3 fencing types. So we did visit every single campus and assess the existing conditions. The construction drawings we're going to talk about today are to upgrade those campuses as I've spoken. So I'm going to go through each campus one at a time. And where you see the different stripes here, the green stripe is the picket fencing, the gold stripe is the welded wire, the red stripe, or it might be brown in your, or brownish in your printout, will be the 8 feet chain link fence. And then the dashed lines, the magenta line is the existing wrought iron that will remain. The dashed kind of gold line, that will be the existing welded wire fence that will remain. The existing red line is the existing chain link, and then on one campus there's some metal panels that are there, so those are going to remain too. So I'm going to go through each campus. This is Bob Hope. So at the front of the campus we're going to install picket fencing. Wherever you see an arrow, and in your documents you can see that the gold arrow is a vehicular gate, and then the kind of blue or purple arrow is a personnel gate. So at Bob Hope we're going to put new picket fencing around the front, and new welded wire fence around the front and the sides, so in the back it'll be a secure area. Next campus, Spicewood Park Elementary, around the front, new picket fencing, around the back, welded wire fencing, and then there's some existing fencing that's there that isolates the playgrounds and things like that. All of that fencing will remain. Next one is Southwest Legacy High School, so it's going to get a new 8-foot chain link fence all the way around the back. And then the previous presentation was about an expansion that they're doing, and they'll pick up a little bit of fencing on that expansion that connects up to ours. But generally, the main thing that we're doing is the 8-foot in the back, and then a little bit of fencing right here, new proposed wrought iron fencing. That's it. Next one, so on Resnick, again, there's an existing picket fencing that goes, or wrought iron that goes all the way around the back, and then we're going to enclose the ball fields with more picket fencing. And then between what is the bus drop-off is we're going to add panelized fencing, the welded wire. So here at Hidden Cove, it's new 8-foot chain link fence all the way around the back, and then here where it hits the street is a new picket panel fence. Indian Creek, this one is going to have welded wire fence around the back and the side. This is the one where it has that existing metal panel, so that's going to stay. It meets the criteria. It's 6 feet high. You can't climb it, so it's good. Then welded wire fence basically to separate this side yard off where the bus drop, and then another welded wire fence off the back. Then on Sky Harbor, new 8-feet chain link fence all around the back, picket fence around the front, and then some panelized fence along the road here. The welded wire fence along the road, and then welded wire fence between the front and the back. Then McCullough, along the access road here, new picket fence, and then 8-foot chain link fence all the way around the back, and then panelized fence to separate the parking area and this little courtyard area, and then wire fence here. I'm sorry, I said panelized wire fence along the sides.
Real quick before you switch.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we not doing anything at the aquatic center besides the front fence?
That has an existing picket fence that's there,
Oh,
a
okay.
wrought iron fence. But
No,
we're
like
not-
around the back.
Yeah, currently.
We have, at the Aquatic Center, along this fence, we did add after the project, we added a chain link fence that comes in here to keep the kids
Oh, okay.
going into this area on the backside.
How
We
about,
don't really have anything around the golf facility, but that's usually an after-hours thing. Most of the stuff that we're doing at the campuses is for like daytime, normal business day playground type, so.
but we
do
don't have anything around the back for the aquatic center?
Well, we don't, there is no fence like that on the backside. But we are putting access control in the aquatic center. We could take a look at adding a fence around that area to see what it would look like.
Yeah, let's look at that, to keep them from accessing it from behind.
Backside.
Absolutely. All right. Medio Creek. So we're going to add, there's existing picket fence actually that's between the parking lot, the apartments that are here and the parking lot. We're going to enclose the front with gates and picket fencing. We're going to upgrade, there's an existing gate here. We have to make some upgrades to it to meet the criteria. The new 8-foot chain link fence across the back, welded wire fence to enclose the playground area, and then this back little field here. All right, on Sun Valley, a new picket fence along the front, new 8-foot chain link fence around the back, and then welded wire fences to enclose the play area. All right, on Scobie, it's got an existing picket fence around the front, so we're gonna have a welded wire fence that goes along the street here, then 8-foot chain link fence until it gets to the front of the school, then welded wire to take it to the existing picket fence. All right, Big Country, it has an existing picket fence along the road, so we're going to replace the chain link fence that's there with a new 8-foot chain link fence, and then create an enclosure here with the welded wire fence that secures this back area. All right, Crewald, again, it has an existing picket fence, so we're going to extend that with a welded wire fence, and then a new 8-foot chain link fence around the back, and then new welded wire fencing to enclose the play area. Southwest Elementary, it's got an existing picket fence over here, and then it's got an existing chain link fence here. What we're going to do is isolate this drive lane with welded wire fencing so that the school is now secure from this driveway. All right, the high school, Southwest High School, we're going to extend the picket fencing along Dragon Lane all the way to the front. New 8-foot chain link fence along the back between that and the field that's next door. A welded wire fence enclosing this, welded wire fence enclosing this area, and then welded wire fence with gates enclosing that area. All right, so building 800, that building we're in right now, it has some existing picket fence. We're going to add an 8-foot chain link fence essentially around the back. Elm Creek Elementary, along the front here, we're going to add new picket fencing along the front, a welded wire fence around the back, and then enclosing these playground areas, and then a new 8-foot fence around the back as well. And then the McNair, again, it's got a new 8-foot fence around the back, and then a welded wire fence that separates it from the elementary school, Elm Creek next door, and then new picket fence along the front. And that's it. So our estimate right now is roughly $7.5 million for all of the fencing that you saw today. And our budget was 8.5.
We have about 4.2 in safety grants that the state get, and the rest will come from the bond funds that we have allotted for safety.
I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
This project we are going to bid as an RFCSP, so we won't be construction manager risk. There'll be just a straight bid. So we'll still evaluate based on their relevant experience and project management ability, along with price, but we are going to bid this one along because it's just a fencing job, so it's not as complex as having a building. So we feel like we get a better price for bidding on RFCSP.
And when do you start bidding out for this thing?
Well, we're going to do it as soon as possible.
Oh, okay.
It'll be in the month of February. We'll probably bring in contract back in March.
The one thing about the aquatic center, we do have, though, we did put the film on the aquatic center, those entries and stuff, so
Oh, yeah.
So it is, we do have that there too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look at the things.
Okay.
And access control.
Any questions? If not, I need a motion. We have a first and a second to approve the construction documents for the fencing project. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Consider approval of the construction material testing lab for Crewald Road of the Arts renovation project.
Yes, ma'am. So the Southwest ISD Board of Trustees approved Marksman General Contractors as the contractor on that project at Crewald Elementary. This, what we're bringing today is the construction materials testing for that project. Terracon Consultants is one of our pre-approved geotechnical firms. They have done multiple projects for us, so we provided a set of documents to them to give us a not-to-exceed proposal for construction materials testing. Their proposal that was sent back was not to exceed, it was $60,000, not to exceed $60,000 for the project. So it will come under that most likely, but that we always try and do a not to exceed there. So we are recommending that the board approve Terracon as the construction materials testing lab for Crewald Road School of the Arts renovation project in the amount of $60,000, not to exceed $60,000.
Is Marksman the one that did the press box? No?
No,
No,
that's
that's
CGC.
CGC. Marksman did phase 1 of Southwest High School.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mostly the career center part of it.
Okay, board, do you have any questions? No, if not, I need a motion. James moves.
Second.
Flo seconds, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consider approval of the 25-26 campus staffing models.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. So, as we started conversations with our committee and we've had 2 meetings we did one with our principals, we met with teachers the other day, and our DIT, we're gonna meet with APs next week. So we're gonna continue our journey on cost-saving measures. One cost-saving measure that we intend to employ this year would be to change our ratios. Currently, and I'm gonna start with the elementary. Currently, the practice has been 20-1, K through 4th grade, and then we've been staffing 5th grade at 25-1, which is allowable. So what we're recommending is that we move to 22-1 in our K through 5, or 1st grade through 4th grade, which 5th grade it kind of measures out. So I don't put 25-1 on there, but I try to go 22-1 in 5th grade if it's possible. But if we run into problems where the principal has the autonomy to move more students in 5th grade, so I still staff 22-1 in 5th grade. It's just if there's 25 kids, they can put kids in there without a waiver.
So on this paper, it says pre-K and kinder, 1 to 20.
Correct.
And then kinder through 5th.
1 to 22.
So it's not kinder through 5th, it's 1 through 5th.
1 through 5th, yeah, sorry, I
Okay,
should have changed that.
that's all right.
Yeah, so pre-K and kinder is gonna stay 20-1.
Okay.
Those are our smaller babies that are in the classroom, so a little bit easier to manage with lower numbers. And then, basically, 1st grade through 5th grade will be, what we're using right now is 22-1. In bilingual right now, we're going 17-1. I did have to adjust bilingual a little lower than normally. It used to be 18. It's a little bit harder because most campuses only have 1 bilingual teacher per grade level. So if I use the numbers, complete numbers of bilingual students in some campuses, they don't have enough kids in bilingual to have a teacher at every level, which we have to. Because, I mean, there's 12 3rd graders and 14 4th graders. The formula is not working. So I did adjust that for that. At the same time, we have eliminated the PE aides at the elementaries. Currently, we had PE aides. We've started to move those. We're taking that away as a cost saving. The only reason that you would receive a PE aide is if you were over 800, just because of sheer numbers of students in the school. If you become an elementary that does go over 800, currently we have one. You will also have the choice to choose between an assistant principal or a counselor. It'll be the preference of that principal, and so we were going to give them that option. We don't anticipate having any elementaries over 800 next year, except for maybe Elm Creek, because currently they're about 820. We do think that the boundary changes have stopped the rapid growth in some areas. Spicewood could possibly get closer maybe the following year, so we wanted to make sure we have a model for them. On the middle schools, going to the middle school allotments, we were staffing the middle school allotments at 22-1 previously, and we are now working with the model of 24-1 in our middle school campuses. The same thing, we don't anticipate anybody going over 1,000 anytime soon. What we did with Resnick and moving those boundaries, moving kids over to McCullough, Those have really leveled out. Most of them are between 750 and 800. So we don't anticipate having to add any extra principals or counselors.
Brandon,
Yes, ma'am.
23 to 1 or 24?
23 to 1. Did I say 24?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
23.
it's 23 to 1.
Yeah, 23 to 1, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
And so we're going to be using that model. We are going to be working with, as we still get with the committee on other positions and other things and possibilities, so we're not ready to talk about those yet. So we're still in talk. So really, it's about ratios today. And then for the high school, the last one was to use the ratio of 26 to 1 in our high schools.
What are our high schools sitting at right now, attendance-wise?
Both of them are about 2,300 kids.
23.
Southwest High School is a little larger, but not much further away from, Legacy's up there as well.
Do you anticipate them being in the 25s next year?
Could very well. We're averaging 130 to 140 kids per school, so it could possibly just, it's one of those wait and see type things. We've seen some pretty, those large classes that we did have in elementaries when we went to the middle schools are now entering the high schools. The high schools have the largest classes, if you add them together with history. We think these measures will help us get some savings and not impact the classroom. We don't want to have large classrooms and oversized classrooms, but we think we're within the ratios that can still maintain good class sizes.
On this high school model, this is what you're proposing for the 25, 26?
Correct.
Just, do you know what the change is? Like, what do they have right now for,
Like the amount of teachers?
yeah,
So I've worked on the middle schools based on the numbers that I'm using, and then I've started the elementaries. I have not touched the high schools yet because I've
Okay.
got their master schedules. Right now what I'm doing, me and Scott, we're going through every campus's master schedule, looking at the size of each classroom and the amount of courses each teacher's teaching to see if we change these ratios and let's say we reduce the amount of teachers, is it going to impact instruction?
okay,
We're finding in some campuses that there is some areas that they could have gave us back some FTEs because we either gave them too many because we're projections. Like,
Right.
we're estimating what their attendance is going to be next year, enrollment. In some cases, we were wrong because we needed to add teachers. In some cases, they have too many teachers because they didn't hit the number that we thought they were going to be at. So we're looking at that, and at the same time, we're projecting enrollment next year. We're looking at master schedule. Some campuses, we feel like we've done some great things with giving them extra teachers. But right now, we're hoping this is temporary. As we get out of our deficit, we can go back to a model that's better for instruction. But I can't tell you how many teachers at the high schools yet that they will need, because we're still trying to project their enrollment, and we haven't even started looking at their master schedules yet.
okay. At the next brown bag, or whenever we're gonna talk about this again, can you give us what we are right now, and then what it's gonna look like, so we have a better idea of what we're losing?
We'll do.
Okay.
We'll try to have that at the next budget committee, which we have on the 30th.
Okay.
Before the brown bag.
All
And then
right.
we can bring that back to the board for everybody to see.
Awesome, thank you. You have any questions?
Thank you.
We have to approve it, right? So we
Correct.
need a motion.
I move.
Think first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. So once you give us the staffing model, if there's something that we just really feel is not gonna,
Well, I'll be honest with you, we'll study it and we're gonna bring you and show you like how it will impact and how many teachers they might lose.
this is not set in stone, though.
This could
We-
change, but we're gonna
Okay.
work, right now, we're giving you to approve this, and then we're gonna work on our staffing, and then I'll share with Dr. Ball, get her input on what she thinks and feels as far, because we don't really wanna hurt instruction, but at the same time, we have to try to find some cost savings,
Right.
we set a goal. And I know that we talk about other positions, but we have almost 1,000 teachers.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, it's hard to find savings in those areas, like where we're going to look at. If we have places that overstaff, we can make it where the class sizes don't change a whole lot. That's where we can see potential savings, but we'll do the models, we'll go through it before staffing, and then we'll share it, and then we'll bring it to the committee.
Right, and it's all through attrition. We're not
Correct.
doing any kind
Correct.
of, okay, all right.
What if you talk about how really when campuses have needed something, you add, so
Correct.
it's like, this is just a framework.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, this is a framework, so like if we go into next year and there's a kindergarten classes have 25 kids in each classroom, we're gonna try to give them, we're gonna look across the district, see if there's a teacher that's, where a campus that doesn't need the teacher. That's where HR comes in, or we
Right.
allow them to hire. So we're not gonna, once we set this model, it's all a projection, and then when we go into next year, we review it and say, okay, we really need an extra teacher here in this grade level at this campus. And so we never say no, because we don't want classes in first grade to be 28, 25,
Right.
26. And so sometimes we have to do some creative things because we can't find a teacher. But that's why it's so important for us to get the model right, project enrollment, and then really go forward with the plan, and then from there, be ready to make some decisions.
Right, okay, thank you.
And just so the board knows, on February 11th and the 12th, we have our preliminary staffing on campuses, just so they can have an estimated number as for our job fair that's coming up March
22nd, I believe.
the 22nd. But then as we look at registration numbers, enrollment numbers, it's a constant back and forth
Yeah.
that they work together to make sure we have enough staff.
Awesome.
Those numbers do change because of all the last.
Yep.
I think Brandon last told me that the high school added 150 students this year, so.
Got Southwest High School added about 150, and then Legacy about 130.
Wow,
So
okay.
if that continues, then we'll definitely be.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, no,
We have one
consider,
more.
yeah, consider approval of the submission of the truancy prevention and intervention grant application and resolution.
So, we typically get this in consent because we've done this for 7 years. This is the grant that gives us our T-PALs that allows us to work. We do that in partnership with ACOG, and so that's a grant that we receive. We've received anywhere between almost 600,000 to 100,000 in different years, so it just depends on what they're allocating, how many companies and partnerships they're allocating to. But every year we bring this to the board to ensure, because it is federal, so you have to ask board permission to apply for the grant through the resolution. And so we ask your permission to go ahead and continue that. And it would help if we were able to get it to help pay the cost of our T-PALs and some of the work that they do for the truancy and abatement court hearings, et cetera.
Okay.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. Any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. No items of information? Is that right? And do we need a closed session?
Yes, we do have
Okay.
a closed session, but I do have some items that are.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Go
okay. I want to congratulate some individuals in the audience that next week they are going to be presenting at Midwinter. Chief Palomo is going to be presenting twice, next week and then again at the national level. His Promise program is going to be presented, so congratulations, Chief. You're in progress. Then also Adrian Armidas and Laura Garza will be presenting on the success of the attendance campaign that we've had with building relationships with students, so congratulations to you both. Very excited about the Penguin Project. These students have worked very hard. It's hard to believe that it's already next week, so everybody should have received a beautiful invitation with some tickets. I misplaced mine here, but you should have these. If anybody needs more, let us know, but I hope everybody can join us. If you can for both nights, that'd be great. If at least one of the nights would be great. And then we were supposed to have a unified basketball game this week, but it was changed. So it'll be next Wednesday at 5:30 at Legacy.
Okay.
The one against Southwest High School, or?
Yes, it'll be
Yeah.
Legacy against Southwest High School.
Oh, I almost came to that. I didn't know it was canceled.
It was, yes,
Okay.
it was supposed to be Wednesday, I think, but with cold weather and stuff like that.
Okay, so as permitted by sections 551.001-551.146 of the Texas Government Code, we will go into closed session at 1:12. And come back into open session at 1:55. Going back to item which one is it, Brandon? Item,
It's,
The super recommendations on personnel.
Item 17? Okay.
17A.
Superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
I move that we approve the superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
A second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, motion carries. Dr. Ball, do you have anything else?
Just want to remind the board that at Sun Valley, I'm trying to think of my campuses that are still in the contest. Sky Harbor and Crewell. Those principals do know that if any of y'all want to stop by and read, Bobby Blunt is having that contest. So just, if you want me to, I'll fill out the form if you tell me when you go, but they're willing to accept you to go read to the kids so y'all can win the contest.
Awesome, okay. Anything else, anybody? Nope. Then the meeting will be adjourned at 1:56.